Welcome. How are you doing today? I feel like I've been lied to. I feel like I was deceived. I feel like I was misled. I was dismissed. I was ignored. And I was repurposed and tricked. So we're going to talk about it. So I guess a week or so ago, a girlfriend of mine, we've been friends for over 15 years, texted me saying that she was going to have some sort of like holiday gathering, festivity, shindig, get together at her house. And it's not in my town, it's in a different town, so it's a drive. But I was like, oh my gosh, yes, of course, I would love to come. And she invited me like personally through text message because she knows I don't like check the social media stuff to know if there's been invites there. Just like, listen, if you want me to be somewhere, just text me and ask me. So I was like, yes, of course. And she was like, cool, can you just like come straight after work and like help me prep the food for the party and like finish cooking? And I was like, oh yeah, cool, yeah, okay. I asked if I could bring anything. She said she didn't need anything, so I just, because it was like a taco party, I brought a fucking bag of tortilla chips and a case of White Claw, because like what else? I don't know. So I get there. Her gated property, she's got large dogs, and like they're large and they jump, right? You know, like I've had large dogs, they don't jump. So I stood at the gate like talking to them, hoping that like okay, they'd get over it, they'd calm down, they know it's me. We're not excited enough to jump anymore before I like open the gate to go through the property because my hands were full, right? I have these fucking White Claw and these chips, and I'm not interested in having the shit knocked out of my hands or having my fucking clothes ripped because it happens by these fucking big ass dogs just fucking. And my friend's little 4-year-old daughter came running out in the yard, like trying to call off the dogs. To her credit, it kind of worked. So after a while, I was able to squeeze through the gate, come in. I walk into my friend's house. The front door is open. I was greeted by who I thought was her ex-boyfriend. Last time I saw her, we went out for drinks, and she went, yeah, I broke up with him because he's a fucking narcissist. So he's there in her house, and he goes, oh, let me take that out of your hands. Well, shoot, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. But, like, what are you doing here? I don't know. I didn't know they were back together. That's okay. Good for her. My friend and boyfriend have just started cooking, and their daughter is, like, excited to have company and see somebody. I love that kid. I've known her whole life. She's an absolutely precious little gem. I adore her. And I had brought her as since it was a holiday party, I brought the child a gift. It was one of those, I'll insert a picture. It's one of those little plant growing cups, and it's got a tiny little terracotta pot, and you get your little like growing medium dirt, and you mix it with water, and you put your little seeds in there, and you like create a little greenhouse with saran wrap, and like it's cute. I've done it before. So I got one for the kid, and she was so stoked. She was so stoked that she got like a little bashful about it. So I helped her set it up, and oh goodness gracious, when I was helping this little girl set up her little flower pot kit, she asked me how many hours it was going to take for the flowers to grow. So I do this little project with my friend's child, and I'm asking, okay, how can I help get ready for the party? Who all is coming? How many people are you expecting? What's the deal? These questions are getting dodged, and I just end up spending the next 2 hours babysitting the little girl. And it's not that I don't like this child. I really like this kid. But it became so clear and obvious. This child is like pretty starved for attention and affection. And because I am someone she's known her whole life, she's like, oh my God. And so she was like incredibly needy. And I feel very bad for saying it like this, but listen, I got needs too. I got needs too. I thought that I was invited to a dinner and drinks like backyard party after work on a Friday night. I was asked to be there at like 5:30, 5:45. I didn't know. I didn't know until like 8:30 when I overheard that, oh shit, that most people weren't gonna get there until 10 p.m. Who the fuck has dinner at 10 p.m.? Like, I understand having dinner at 10 p.m., right? I've done it. But like saying, okay, this is an event and we're all here to have dinner at 10 p.m. So I was getting overwhelmed because it was just like, I've been sitting on the floor with this child who's just desperate for attention. And anytime I tried to like get up and walk away and like interact with my friend, the adults, this poor child was like sticking things directly in my face and waving at them. And if I had the fortitude to just keep talking to someone and ignore that this child was poking at my body, making a bunch of noise and like being in my face, how are these people who live with this child just ignoring this? Like, how are they not going to be like, hey, kiddo, come, we're talking? They didn't do that. So I was getting overwhelmed because I thought I had been invited over to like help cook and serve dinner for a party, but I was invited like 5 hours too early. And I was expected to just, I don't know what, with this poor child and these badly behaved animals. I don't know, dude. It was so I at one point like tried to be like, okay, I'm gonna get out of this. I like the kid did my makeup. I played haircut dolls in her like bedroom, which for some reason has this like moldy foam mattress. It's not on the bed. I don't know what that one looks like. It's just this moldy foam mattress thing that was just like in the middle of the floor. I asked little girl what was up with the moldy mattress, and she said, I don't know, they pulled it out of the. So I rolled this foam thing up and I shoved it underneath her bed to get it out of the way so she could use her bedroom floor. It was, anyway, that's not important. So I went to the kitchen and I got a White Claw. Not sponsored. My friend was talking to me. I was listening to her talk about whatever, blah, blah, blah. And the kid, of course, followed, ran into the room, and was just poking at me, poking at my, grabbing at me, talking, trying to, like, she wanted the attention, right? And it had been over 2 hours at that point, and I was just like, I got tricked into babysitting for a very needy child, and I didn't know that. I didn't even think the kid was gonna be home. I didn't know. Like, I thought the kid was gonna be at her dad's house. I didn't know that my friend was going to throw a house party for like 30 people with her child home, with the party time being 9 or 10 p.m. for a dinner. There was no like foresight or rationale in my head because I was just like, I've known this girl for a really long time and her kid's adorable. I love her. I'm a fucking idiot. So as I'm trying to listen to her and and hear what she's saying, as her child is like bothering and badgering me, and I'm trying to drown it out so I can focus on what my friend is saying, and she doesn't bother to say anything and say, hey baby, stop it. And I just said, this is why I had to quit smoking. Because in my head, she'd remembered the reason why I had to quit smoking. The reason why I had to quit smoking was because I moved somewhere that I couldn't smoke inside anymore. That's fine, whatever. But the issue is that I couldn't smoke outside anymore because I had a neighbor who is, I think, about 41 years old, who in here, there's a child in there, and she behaves accordingly. So if I walked out my front door, she would think that I was there for her own amusement. And so I couldn't just come home from work, sit down, smoke a cigarette, read a book. I couldn't do that. So I switched to vape because I legitimately had gotten so much anxiety about trying to like just go outside because of this badgering behavior. I thought my friend remembered that. Apparently she didn't. But when I was like, this is the kind of behavior, she looked at me like with these sharp, venomous eyes, and she was like, my daughter has severe social anxiety. She just wants to be accepted. Okay, well then, like, you pay attention to her. Like, what? I'm not the problem because I find her behavior annoying and you won't do anything about it, and I'm not the reason. Like, you pay attention to her then, or at least maybe make some little suggestions when your child behaves this way. I'm sure her kid's a nervous wreck, right? I'm sure her kid's a nervous wreck because her parents split up, her dad moved out, And now mom's got some new guy staying in there who looks almost exactly like dad. But it's not my fault. It's not my fault that this little girl is chewing her nails until they bleed. It's not. It's not. It's not. And I feel fucking terrible for this little girl, but there's nothing I can fucking do about it. And spending time with her is exhausting because she's precious as fuck. But like, dude, I didn't sign up to babysit. I thought I was coming to a dinner party. Anyway, I get the kid to go outside with me in the backyard because that's where the adults have gone now. And I was hoping to just be around to talk to the other adults because I've been sitting in a fucking children's bedroom floor that like has years worth of shit that should have gone to Goodwill, just stacking up in there. So I went out in the backyard with this kid and I tried to talk to my friend's new boyfriend. Oh, by the way, this is just a side note. New boyfriend spent 5 years in prison for blowing the leg off of a child with a shotgun. My girlfriend knew that, and she's continued to date him anyway. Apparently he's great with her kid. So I tried to talk to him, and he was just like, oh, well, thank goodness that, like, you're here playing with the child, because, like, if you weren't here, I would have had to have been doing that, and I wouldn't have been able to help homegirl who's my friend. It's like, well, shit, dude, why did we get switched around? I was asked to come help homegirl, my friend, and I guess you were supposed to do whatever other assignment. How did I end up with your assignment? So kid asked me to go back inside. She wants me to show me some stuff in her room and play with it. And I see my friend in the kitchen pull out like a bunch of like raw chicken from the refrigerator, like a large package enough to feed a significant amount of people, and she's starting to put it in a frying pan on the stove, and it's already been over 2 hours since I've gotten there. She's just now starting to cook this chicken. It's only 8:30. People aren't going to start showing up until maybe an hour later, and I was just like, oh shit, like, I thought that, like, I was going to come over, I was going to help you cook, people were going to hang out, and I was going to just, like, sleep over upstairs, right? And it became like, no, this is an hours long, we ignore you, and you distract our child while we also ignore our child. And I just started to feel really panicked. And because I was already out of town, like, I was out in the country, I texted my ex-boyfriend, because he's also out in the country, he was a lot closer than where I live. He had also been invited to the party. So I was just like, dude, are you already on your way here? Because, like, this sucks. And he was like, oh shit, no, like, you can come over. So I went over and I kicked it with him and the dogs. But it was just really, god damn, like, I wish this could be like exciting, like, exposed story, but like, no, it's just really frustrating, and I feel guilty talking about my friends like this, but like, what the fuck, dude? I want to say I'm surprised that my homegirl did me that way, but I'm not. Because she has increasingly been this exact same way the entire time I've known her for fucking 15 years. She doesn't care about other people. So I picked up my backpack, put on my jacket, I walked out the back door of the house, snuck around to the front yard, got into my car, started my car, and sat there for a while. And then I drove over a block before I turned my fucking headlights on, because I needed to get the fuck out, and I didn't want anybody to know I was leaving. I didn't want anybody to know I was leaving. Especially since I'd already tried to express to them, like, I'm not having a great time here because... And they were just like, my daughter bites her nails. Okay, dude. So I guess that's anticlimactic, but I have some stir fry that I'm gonna eat, so I want to thank you for listening. I feel like forgiveness is very important, so I want you to forgive yourself for the time that you have wasted watching this video, and have a good day.